Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, the teacher, Parker. You know, KRS-One, famous hip-hop artist, is also known as the teacher. We'll get back to KRS-One. Rest in peace to Tyree Nichols. We lay him to rest on the first day of Black History Month, which is, as Senator Myrie mentioned, that cruel irony of being black. And sometimes it's hard, but as they said, there's nothing better than being black. I was black before I got elected. I'll be black after I got elected. My blackness is beautiful. The blackness of our people is beautiful, no matter what hue you are, Mr. President. My blackness, our blackness, is strength. James Baldwin in 1961 was asked by a radio host about being black in America, and he said, "To be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a state of rage almost all of the time, and in one's work. And part of the rage is this: it isn't only what is happening to you, but it's what's happening all around you, and all of the time in the face of the most extraordinary and criminal indifference. Indifference of most white people in this country and their ignorance. Now, since this is so, it is a great temptation to simplify the issues under the illusion that if you simplify them enough, people will recognize them. I think this illusion is very dangerous because, in fact, this isn't the way it works. A complex thing can't be made simple. You simply have to try to deal with it in all its complexity and hope to get that complexity across." James Baldwin said that in 1961, but he could have said it yesterday. And I know many of us have heard the beginning of that quote, but I don't know if we've heard that full quote in its context. We've heard about the rage, but where does the rage come from, Mr. President? Where does the frustration come from? It comes from seeing televised murders. It comes from wondering, damn, am I next? I don't think people understand that when many of us see those things, it takes you to a point, man, you know, this really could happen to me. This traffic stop, it really could happen to me. This interaction, this really could happen to me. Well, why do you run? Well, we run because we don't have faith that if we are in the grasp, that we're going to be treated fairly. Why do we run? Now, running is a literal and a metaphoric thing in this context, Mr. President. We're running towards glory. You know, I spoke about sampling and hip-hop during MLK Day. And if you've heard this song by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, it's called The Message. Melly Mel is the modern-day Baldwin in that when he says, "Don't push me, 'cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head." It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how we keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep from going under. You know, it's the first day of Black History Month, and I live through the lens of my daughters, and I promise my oldest, this was her idea. Her Black History Month topic was the history of hip-hop. The history of hip-hop. So we came up with a trivia game. And we talked about a couple of things, most notably where the birthplace of hip-hop was, Senator Comrie. The BX. Also, the location of the first hip-hop museum scheduled to open up in 2024. And I got a chance to be at the hip-hop museum where we're announcing some funding this past Sunday. And I got to be around some legends. The teacher, KRS-One. So now, back to my oldest. Her rap name is GB Gold. And my youngest, Karina, Giada's GB Gold, and Karina, her rap name is Control C. They're part of the culture. And when I met KRS-One said something. He said, rap is something you do, but hip-hop is something you live. And hip-hop has only not helped to raise me, but hip-hop has been that, like our flair, our alarm system, our rapid response team to societal unrest or injustice. Sam Cooke wrote Change is Gonna Come because he was denied accommodations at a hotel. Papoose, the rapper, took the Sam Cooke beat from Change is Gonna Come in response to Sean Bell being shot at 50 times in Queens. Rapid response team. Fight the Power by Public Enemy, one of the greatest works of art in hip-hop history. It defined the movie Do the Right Thing. Now, in Do the Right Thing, remember, a couple things happened. Ray D. Rahim was brutally murdered. But before he was murdered, he was silenced. The music that he carried around, his boombox, he was silenced. So, fight the power. You know, Self-Destruction by Boogie Down Productions, one of the first rap videos I remember watching on Video Music Box, spoke about the societal ills and the response that we needed to be better as a society to each other. The aforementioned KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions had a song called You Must Learn, where he breaks down so many black leaders that we haven't heard of, and he says, because black and white kids both take shorts. When one doesn't know about the other one's culture, ignorance swooped down like a vulture. Because you don't know that you ain't just a janitor because you never learned about Benjamin Banneker. A billion black man that invented the almanac. Can't you see where KRS-One is coming at? With Eli Whitney, Haile Selassie, Granville Woods made the walkie-talkie, Lewis Latimer approved on Edison, Charles Drew did a lot for medicine, Garrett Morgan made the traffic lights, and Harriet Tubman freed the slaves at night. Madam C.J. Walker made the straightening comb, but what you won't know if you weren't shown. You won't know unless you're shown. That's why this month is important. And even if it's 1 month, we can take the lessons that we learn from this month and take them over time. And, you know, at one point, they said black people couldn't play quarterback, Mr. President. They said that we were mentally inferior, and they tried to, and they said, no, you played in high school, you played in college, no, but you're gonna play receiver. They blackballed Colin Kaepernick. I got my Colin Kaepernick Uptowns on right now, Mr. President. But in the first time in the history of the NFL, we have 2 black quarterbacks facing off in the Super Bowl. From being told that you can't understand the playbook. They used to say that, Mr. President. They said that black men couldn't understand the playbook because it was too complex, that they didn't understand the routes, or they didn't understand the mechanics of the offense. At the greatest stage in the world, the highest level of competition, we have 2 black men in the Super Bowl. And I think that it's kind of awesome that we had a mini huddle a little while ago. And when you think about how black men and black women have been disenfranchised so much, the committees that we are in charge of, the committees that we get to lead in this great body, things that have historically disenfranchised, we now have the power to be a part of the change. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams, Mr. President. You know, 2004, then Senator, future President Barack Obama, he had a legendary DNC speech, but he came out to the song by Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions, Keep On Pushing. Keep on pushing. I've got to keep on pushing. I can't stop now. Move up a little higher, some way, somehow, because I've got my strength, and it don't make sense not to keep on pushing. We got to keep on pushing for the ancestors, for the current day, but most importantly, for the future. Not just for my daughters, but the generations that we can't even foresee. Generations that didn't foresee an ASC, a Speaker Hasty, a Hakeem Jeffries, a Tish James, an Eric Adams, an Adrian Adams, Crystal Peoples-Stokes. These are things that we couldn't imagine. We couldn't imagine that even 10 years ago. Even 10 years ago, 1 decade ago, You couldn't imagine we didn't see all of these black folks in positions of power. Darcel Clarks and Vanessa Gibsons and, man, like it's something to be here. I don't take this for granted. I do not take this opportunity for granted. As a close Public Enemy said it takes a nation of millions to hold us back. That was their second album. And I dare to say, Mr. President, we can't be held back anymore. Happy Black History Month.